immigration route into 5. But if you want to go to the
but we are in our head, we are still calculating everything in naira. So we'll bring us back the casket because we'll be there spending or not spending. No.
Self-knowledge, self-empowerment, because I don't know whether it's just me. The moment I know something and I feel in control, I feel like I can do, well, not really undo, but I can do a lot, you know. So I don't feel very comfortable with handing my future over to somebody and like let that person be totally in control. So we'll do that assessment. But you will learn how to do it for yourself and how to do it for any loved one who is interested. Like somebody around you will just say, I want to go to Canada. God, let me test you. You will be the immigration doctor. Let me test you and see whether it go work for you or not, right? And then we'll talk about the top 3 common mistakes that people make when they want to immigrate. Then we look at how to revamp low CRS score. So some people may already know what CRS score is. So CRS means a comprehensive ranking scale. Then, when you do that, use that scale, you get a score. So, we'll talk more about that before then. And we look at alternative travel abroad routes, and we answer any question that has to do with what we taught and any other thing that was not covered. So, you see, I got you covered. You don't have to worry at all. And after that, we'll go for lunch. The good part. So, let's start with part 1 of 7, the different Canada immigration routes. They are specific names, but I discovered that when you are explaining something to people and you go into all those big words, right? Nobody's going to remember anything. So it's always good to group it or group them and make it easier for the brain to retain. So at the end of the day, we can go more in depth. Maybe when somebody has an extra question. So I grouped the immigration routes into 5. But if you want to go to the specifics, I've heard somebody before say there are up to 72 routes. And when I hear that, like, how come only express entry they hear about? You know, how come I only hear about express entry? But there are so many routes, but we can group them. And let me start with the first one that I have here, which is work/employment. You can actually immigrate to Canada directly by getting work from an organization. Like a company hire you and they help you do papers. And like, so for a company, let me put it this way, that's the general knowledge that people know, right? And sometimes it's very easy for somebody to say, I'm going to get a job. You just do the paper for you, you go. If you are naive, you will just be like, wow, that's really cool. So let's get started. But if you know the inner corpus story, especially after today, you ask more questions. So I always say that the good thing about knowing is not that once you know, you no longer work with people. No. It's that even when you're working with somebody, because you know the right question to ask. In fact, because you know when things are getting delayed, you won't get sad. You know, sometimes I work with agents, but especially if it's something I know about, or I don't even have to know it like specifics, but if I understand how it works, it's easier for me to say, your flight was cancelled or your flight was delayed. It's normal thing. It's not the agent's fault that your flight was delayed. You understand? So if you know, I'll be like, okay, I know it's not the person's fault. It's the plane or company or aircraft company. So it's thank you. So it's easier for me to be like, okay, when is the next time? If you don't know, you say this agent from 4:30, give me 8:30, give me 9. So you will just be angry for no reason. And nobody's going to like the person that is always doubting, always fearful, always thinking that you have been scammed. But the only reason that, so, like, it can have extremes, right? Where you don't know anything because of that, you don't know the question to ask, or you are too angry, even when things are going the normal routes. So, it's very good to keep that in mind. Now, looking at work/employment, as I said, the central knowledge is that you can actually get work from an organization, and the organization will do paper for you, and you will come to Canada. That's the general knowledge. Now let's go to the nitty-gritties. Most times, the company have to do what they call LMIA, which is a short form for Labor Market Impact Assessment. Labor Market Impact Assessment. So that's like, to summarize the real goal, is like saying, what is the need of what you are offering? What is the need of your profession in Canada? How well do they need it? How fast do they need it? Is it that there are no people in Canada who can still offer this same service? For example, call a profession for me. Let me use that as an example. Nursing. Is that what you said? Okay, good. So let's say a company wants to hire you as a nurse. Ideally, they have to prove that they've posted that job, nobody's applying. And it's not going to be true if there are still people that are looking for, maybe they will not say unemployment rate for nurses are 20%. I'm just giving an example. And then you not say you posted it, nobody's applying. Where is the evidence? So most times, even though you can easily get to work and travel and they will do impact assessment for you and everything, the organization, the company won't do it because they cannot prove that there's nobody in Canada who needs this job. So you're a nurse, there's a hospital looking for a nurse, but there are nurses in Canada. So what is the justification for bringing, for example, somebody from Nigeria or somebody from Ghana to come to Canada, come and do that nursing job when there are people on ground who are looking for nursing job? It does not make sense. So when you know this, it's easier for you to ask questions. It's easier for you to even find out for yourself, like, this is my profession. How well are they needed in Canada? Is there a gap? For example, one good area that this work thing usually favors is like IT people. Right? You agree with me? I will even say that in Nigeria, there's a lot of IT compared to like a place like Canada. They always say there's shortage. Even government will even fund maybe some programs for people to do IT programs, right? And what's up for women to do IT programs? Because there's IT knowledge gap, and for women the gap is even wider. So now, if a company say, maybe for example, they're working on a female product, they'll try to hire, they're not saw one, correct, Obenge IT person, you are a woman, they really want you. You will pass the labor market impact assessment. Because there is a shortage in Canada, for that kind of program. So don't just hear that they do paper for everybody and you just fall into the hands of the wrong person. Another good example, things like, or professions like being a farmer. Many people in Canada are not farmers. Like, you can reason it, right? Many people are not farmers. So a lot of the companies that are into farming have to go to like low-income countries to hire workers and bring them. So if somebody is a farmer now, in your mind you're like, farmer, wait to be down. But now you they look for. I've seen professions like, let's say, football coach. See, like those. Okay, for example, sometimes we want to. In fact, this is real life example. So something in our house spoils, and we're looking for a carpenter to come and do it. But after plenty search, we found a carpenter who came, did half of the job and never returned. And throughout, this is probably getting to a year now. You will call these people, they will give you a story. Just to do carpenter work, you will pay through your nose and you will still not find somebody safe, and they will default. They will like keep your money, we have enough work. So things like carpentry or plumbing, those hands-on things. Because everybody in Canada is doing oga, and they normal life. Yeah, you like to just work in an office and So those kind of jobs, there are lots of gaps. So by the time somebody now comes to you and say you're a banker, for example, and then the person has there are no bankers in Canada. At least you check Google and find out for yourself if your what do you call it now? If your kind of profession will pass the labor market impact assessment. Okay, so yes, people can travel through work visa to Canada directly, but who can travel? The question is who. It's not just that it's possible, but who are you qualified? Yeah. So okay, so we're going to go to the next one, which is entrepreneurship. How many people are entrepreneurs in this? Please raise your hand. Let me see. Okay. There are many of us. Thank you. Me, I'm an entrepreneur too. Hope I raise well. So, entrepreneurship is another area. So, especially people that are doing startups, which most times, even that startup will still veer towards this kind of IT startup. But it's not only IT, right? So, there are lots of startups, even farming startup too. When I mean startup, like somebody's trying to start a business. But it's not just about that. For example, because after some time I was like, this entrepreneurship thing, there are lots of entrepreneurs. So maybe if people know more about it, they will be able to, if people know about it, they will be able to take advantage of it. But by the time I started digging in, one, you now notice that it's not just I'm an entrepreneur, so I carry my bag and start coming. No. There are organizations that you have to apply to, put your business plan. They will again, they are checking if the kind of business you want to start is a kind of business that is really that is needed urgently in a place like Canada. So if your business, let's say you want to start a call center, there are several call centers, so that one will not pass the verification process. You see? So the most important thing is that for you to know that there are you have to submit business plan and they will be looking at the importance of what you are starting. But not just that too. There are as I said, I grouped this, right? So under entrepreneurship there are different routes. Now there's the part of being an investor. For the financial the threshold is about $100,000 to $120,000. So you have to have that you want to invest. So you now see that even though a lot of people are entrepreneurs, if the work you want to start or the company you want to start is not offering a service that is needed in Canada, it will become a challenge. And secondly, if you are going the investor route, and because investor is there are businesses that people are starting, then you want to put money into that business, maybe you get equity or something. So if you don't have that amount of money, let's say $125,000, I think that's 125. I'm not 100% sure of that exact figure, but let's just say between $100,000 and $125,000. If you don't have that amount of money to invest, it becomes a challenge. Yeah, they will first give you permanent residency, and then you stay for some time, they give you citizenship. Yes. So, and now let's look at number 3. Of course, I'm going to generally talk about qualifications needed as well. So, number 3, we have family class. So, let me ask you, is there anyone here that knows anything about family class? What kind of people do you think fall under this family class, or the kind of travel? Please, yes.
Okay, this should cover people that can travel because of by having close relatives that are already living in Canada. Maybe close relatives that fall within the banks of the father, the mother, the blood sibling, or an identified blood relative over time.
Yes, you're correct. So what he said is that this falls this is for people that are traveling because they have relatives in Canada. Who else want to add something to that? Sure.
Okay, maybe there's a special demand traveling. Someone is pregnant you need your mother to come over for to come and take care of you during the period you're having your child.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Having a special need. Yeah. That's still correct, and that means that somehow your mother is related to you. So the most important tie there is that blood relation. And sometimes it can be that it can be your in-law, right? So because your in-law, meaning that person is not necessarily your blood relation, but they are sharp connected to your family, right? So now there are different routes under this. Let me give you an example. So let's say, let's start from the sweet one, love story. Let's say you are in Nigeria or anywhere else outside of Canada, and you fall in love with somebody in Canada, right? And you people get married. Then you can become a permanent resident through that. Like the person can sponsor you, whether it's the man or woman, they can sponsor you to come over. So that's a very good example under family class. Then there is also something called family sponsorship. Jane, give us more info on that. Just give us a brief. What do you know about family sponsorship? Yes, Mike.
Okay, I think family sponsorship will be where a blood relation has all it takes. The person at the end of the day presents most of the documents. Yeah, so they do the bulk work. They present their account details on your behalf, just quite a number of things, and then you're left to, they just send you just a few things, so you go and do this. So it's like there's a basic person over there who's sorting it out.
Yeah, thank you. So, thank you so much, Jean. So, let me buttress more. There is the portion where, let's say, before you immigrate to Canada, like, they need to know that you have money that you're going to use to take care of yourself. Do you know, when I was going to Canada, in fact, they should not hear me. I used to swear for them. Your mama, how come you said you hold $30,000 in my pocket before me that just graduated, you know? At that point, I didn't have that amount of money. So when they go and say $13,000 for an individual, not a family, I'm like, now we can share. When I got to Canada, I discovered that $13,000 is not enough for me for a whole year. That's like, they want you to hold $13,000 for a whole year, like money that you use to take care of yourself a year. But on ground, just for example, if we divide $13,000 by 12, that brings us to about 1,000 plus, less than 1,100, right? Yeah, less than 1,100. So what you now notice is that by the time you remove, as a single person, you remove your rent, you remove food, you remove all the compulsory things you have to pay, that amount is not enough for a month. So even though I was thinking that they just needed me to have one big money, I actually realized that they actually wanted me to have the basic minimum it takes to survive. Right? So you now see that if they actually allow the person to travel, I'm talking about a single person now, because if it's a family, it's higher, and there's a reason for that. For example, in Canada, there are houses for single people and there are houses for family. If you're a family, they will not rent a single person's house for you. Full stop. It's not I want to manage, me and my family can manage. No. You don't manage. You know? So because this is the standard of living. The standard of living is high, meaning that everybody has to maintain that standard of living. It's not by choice. It's like by force, something like that. So if it's family, that's why you will not see that they will add money to it. Anyways, by the time I got to Canada, I discovered that amount they were even asking me to hold was too small. Right? It says that if you allow somebody to travel with less than that amount, it maybe is now casket they used to bring person back. Do you know why? Who can guess? Yeah?
Because we're here, to us, $30,000 is the exchange rate. The exchange rate is big here, right? So we're seeing $13,000 as like so big. But when you get there, you now discover that them telling you to hold that money is like them telling you to be poor when you come, something like that. I don't know. But I don't know, maybe that's like the basic thing if you are not even rich that you can use there. So they are saying it not poor, but like somebody there that's managing to have that.
Yes.
But here it's like somebody that is rich to have that. So,
but the question is, why do you think they will bring the person back?
With the cost of living there,
the survivor mode,
and we have not yet adapted now to that cost of living. Because we are in our head, we are still calculating everything in naira. So they'll bring us back the casket because we'll be there spending or not spending. No, like the people spending or not spending, because if you want to buy anything, first of all, you are changing it. And then you're not either buying, you're getting hungry, you will not want to eat, you will not want to spend. Because how would I buy water for $400 or something? Or, in your head, I'm just saying that maybe
I see a lot of interest. Like, let's go around the room.
Exactly.
Okay,
I think $13,000.
Sorry, let me rephrase my question.
Okay.
So my question is, if somebody is allowed to travel with less than that amount, there is a huge likelihood.
Can she stand up?
There's a huge likelihood. This is an extreme example. There's a huge likelihood that the person may even die.
Yeah, I'm just. Okay.
So my question is, why do you think that's the case? Why do you think I'm saying that?
Okay, imagine you're holding $13,000 and you're to spend it for a year. Now, let's say in 1 month is $1,000. Now imagine you paying bills and everything. Even the feeding, you won't be able to feed well. Now the money will finish before if you're not able to get a job immediately. So the money will finish before 12 months, and if you don't have anybody to feed you, sorry.
Thank you so much. And I still want some people to comment on that. Let's have somebody at the back.
Well, to me, I think it's as simple as you're going to turn out to be a burden to the country, actually, because you might venture into stealing those properties. Yeah, we call it SAPA. You might enter the SAPA level. So that's it.
Okay, cool. So you're saying that the person can actually even fall into trouble.
Yes,
even if it's not the dead extreme case that I've used, they can fall into trouble. That's what you're saying. Yeah? But I'm still looking for one answer. Let's have him.
Okay, Dr. Lisa, I think it will just boil down to the way they used to word it. There's no recourse to public funds. You don't have to depend on government. You don't have to depend on any establishment for your survival. You have to survive on your own until you get something to do. So your survival is in your hands because you're not going to depend on government resources.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you so much. So everybody answered well. You answered well. Okay, you answered well. I won't give out my money yet. Since I don't get the answer, I'm looking for. But let me tell you the answer.
Doctor, let me.
Okay, good.
All right. Maybe you probably go to a destination you're going. Let's say, for example, Canada, and you have to have a minimum of $13,000. And you go to the place, and maybe some circumstances make you not to stay in that place. You can as well take a decision and go back to your country in order to save your own life. Because you may not be comfortable with staying in the place that because of the expenses there. And the government will not be responsible for your staying, so you can possibly go back to your country. That's what I'm telling you.
Okay, so let me give everybody the answer that was in my head. It's not necessarily the best answer. But when everybody was, when we were answering, something came to my mind. Something that actually happened to me when I got to Canada. You don't know how cold Canada is. If you are homeless in Canada and it's winter, it's caskets. It's caskets. I'm not even exaggerating. Because alternatively, you will not have to turn to a homeless person, go to a homeless shelter, homeless people's shelter, right? And the person said may not really even know about that resources, right? Because you are new. So let me give you a gist. Who wants gist? No one's okay. When I was traveling here, I was traveling around August. This is August, I mean. Yeah. Okay. I was traveling around August. So I was like, yeah, they say cold day Canada or carry sweater. I went to shop. So I bought water in my mind. It be like thick. Like you need to see the way the thick was in my mind. Thick. When I carried it, I filled my bag like this. I was like, yes, I'm ready for this cold. Cold, come here. You blow me, I blow you. You know, like in my head, I was ready for the war. When I arrived in Canada, this is August. So towards the end.